Okay, welcome to Flipping in the Classroom, and this current one is going to be on the project that we're going to be working on, which is for the creative writing class, which will entail the hero/villain writing piece. And the hero/villain is essentially creating a antagonist being a hero and a protagonist being a villain. Now, an antagonist or protagonist, a protagonist, which is a villain or something of that goes against the hero, that helps them on their journey, allows them to grow as an individual, and gives them resistance on their journey. It could be anything from an actual physical element, such as another individual. It could be a inanimate object of sorts. It could be something that has no affiliation for brains or anything like that, say maybe a disease or a disability. It could be society in general, like in the time period that they exist in, or it simply could be something supernatural like gods or vampires or werewolves or things of that nature. Well, to get started first, let's go to Firefox, and we go to the school webpage, and you want to get to Mr. Banks's homepage. Again, you have to go through schools and high school and down to teacher web pages. This will take you to language arts, which is Mr. Banks. And once you get down here, you need to scroll down to the creative writing. Once on and it's set up, our particular one is going to be number 5 for our assignment, which is the hero villain writing. Go ahead and double click on that. Now, this just basically shows a little bit of the description that is going to be involved, and it has a demo for you to create from. The first thing we want to do is, before we even get started, is tracking the way writers develop heroes and villains. Now, when you click on this, it's going to ask you if you want to open a Word document, which you do. And this may do one of two things. It may open it, it may export it straight to your download, but as long as you open it, you should be fine. And this is essentially going to be what we're going to work on. Okay, and so the first part of this is this first lesson today is going to be an overview. And everybody knows or has heard of Star Wars. It's one of the most well-known genres since the 70s when it was created unto now, and it is an endearing genre because it has such diversity. Basically, Darth Vader, he's a villain, and he ranks, third place in all American films of heroes and villains, just barely behind Norman Bates. If you don't know who that is, he's the main character from Psycho with the knife that stabs people, and Hannibal Lecter, the genius who eats his victims. What we want you to do is we want you, the student, to explore how you know things about heroes and villains, that you encounter in text. If you want to look at the list of the top 100 heroes and villains, here they are, and you can click and go find them. What you should do is, after examining how movie makers communicate, Darth Vader's being the villain, I want you to examine like a passage from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone that describes the villain Voldemort, noting how J.K. Rowling, she communicates the details about her characters. I'm not going to have you read novels in small groups with each member tracking a character or anything, but what I want you to do is think about some of the stories that you've read, movies that you've watched, and how when they do so, how is it that the villain is the villain? What makes him the villain? What makes the hero? Okay. And what I'd like for you to do is pick maybe that movie or novel that you are interested in, and you're going to design a poster of sorts, and you're going to present it in detail to the class. So what I'd like for you to do is take your theory to practice, and you're going to analyze some common things in literature. Okay? First, I'll go a little too fast here. Okay, you're going to explore the elements of character development, and you're going to complete an analysis, and I'm going to give you a reading log that you'll be able to do it. And you're going to design a poster and presentation to share your character analysis with everybody, okay? And you're going to draw conclusions on how the author develops these characters, which is it's just very important. So here's the resources that we have already in play, okay? Looking for character development, the assignment, an excerpt from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and the development reading log, as well as the elements of characterization. And on top of that, we have a persuasion map for planning your sheet. And after that, we have Vader Unmasked, the sounds of psychology and evil. So you'll actually be able to listen to these. Now, there's a good chance that some of these might be blocked. I have not tried, to be honest. I'm at home right now, so you need to check that out. If it is blocked here at school, it definitely won't be at home if you have that opportunity, or it won't be blocked, hopefully, if you go, say, to the community center, McDonald's, or something like that. Okay, so we have our set, and we know what we're going to do, so here's what we want to do first. The first thing we want to do is we're going to review the 3 elements of characterization, and all you have to do is hit the control button and click, and it's going to open that up for us. And as it opens up to the internet, once it opens up in a PDF, we'll be able to look at the top part of this sheet in a fashion that we'll understand. Okay? So, looking at this sheet right now, physical appearance is very important. It is absolutely essential. And along with that is the way they talk. For instance, if you're talking about Darth Vader, you're talking about that mask that's, and then he talks out of it. You never see a face, you only hear this deep, dark voice. If you're talking about Voldemort, he has different voices as he goes along through the years of the Harry Potter films, and it is scary to listen to. Actions, speech, and behavior are very important. How do they carry themselves? How do they operate? Do they threaten other characters? Are they vile looking, in behavior? Are they mean to others? And when you talk about the interaction, this is what we're looking at for the character map, okay? And when you have this, you want to basically look at what does the character look like? How does the character act? And what do other characters in the story, how do they react to him? And, if you're talking about Star Wars, everybody's afraid of Vader because if they tick him off, he just force chokes them and kills them. In Voldemort, he just uses his wand and he kills them as well, in different manners, of course. The vocabulary that we've already heard a couple of, this is the protagonist. He's the main character and usually the good guy. Antagonist is the bad guy. Dialogue is important when we are writing because it allows the character to converse and actually talk with other people. And a stereotype, we try to stay away from stereotypes because they're easily predictable and they're not very original. If you do the guy in the Letterman jacket who's good looking and all the girls want, he's like the star football player. Well, now you got a jock stereotype, and everybody's familiar with that. Or the really cute girl who's in a cheerleading outfit with pom-poms, who's dating the most hot guy at school, and she's totally superficial, and only has the in crowd. Again, another stereotype. So try and stay away from the stereotypes as they play out. Okay, so once we've gone there and we know the 3 elements of characterization, okay, and we open those up, we want to apply the details from there. So I'm going to ask you to brainstorm facts that you know about Darth Vader and the Star Wars movie, along with the plot summary, and you need to list your responses. Then when we do, I want you to review kind of who Darth Vader is, and want you to look at the database on him entering into the Star Wars film, look at the list, and then to provide extra background, you look at the AFI definitions of hero and villain so that you know what they are. But this is basically it right here, is how they are defined. Then I want to ask that once we do that, we need to provide students a review, okay? Keeping in mind that in the AFI definition, you have to kind of find your own villain. Then I want you to listen to what it sounds like with Vader unmasked, okay? And then once you've done that, go back to your list. Then we're going to kind of looking for character development. So control and hit enter, and it'll open up hopefully a new tracking system, the way it is set right here, tracking the way writers develop. And this is open to you, which is just a Word document, and you start tracking and keeping yourself in the loop with what you're looking for. Okay, so let me get back to where we were at here. What I say here? I accidentally deleted it. Anyways, if that happens, just reopen it again. All right, there we are. So once we get to this point, and we're at section 1, make sure you get that information done, and you'll have a Dropbox to put these things in eventually. Now, session 2 is looking for character development assignment. Okay. So we're going to open this up real quick. And looking for character development. It'll tell you about how it is in most stories. And it's a very easy thing. What you'll do is, instead of a novel, I want you to pick, you can pick a novel, you can pick a movie, and I want you to track the beginning to end. I think that for our purposes, the best thing to do is to watch a movie. So after you do day 1, which will be Monday, kind of a comprehensive search and dealing with characters, that night I'd like you to go home and watch a movie that has your character. And when you finish watching the movie, I want you to track in a reading log that you have, that you will be given, okay? I want you to track what's going on, and then when you do, I want you to create a poster that outlines it. And you can create this poster in PowerPoint, where you could overlap the pictures, kind of do them in an order so that you can figure out, you know, order of events. And here's your character reading log. And what you'll do for day 2 is, when you, after you hopefully, or after day 1, you'll have this, open this up, and once you open it up, it will have something that you can write down on. Now, as it opens, this is the character log. Now, you will probably want to convert this, okay, because you can't do anything with it. This is just on the internet. But if you convert this to a PDF, okay, and you just want to you know, convert to web page to a PDF, then what will happen is you'll be able to write on it, okay? And so if you just convert, let's see if we can try that again. All right, when in doubt, you can select the whole thing. There we go. Okay, so once you're in here, you could probably write down some of the things that you need to do throughout it. Now, you won't have the page, obviously, but you will have maybe a scene. So you can talk about where the scene's at and give the quote or paraphrase that behaves with this, as far as that goes. If you want to save this, just go to the save, and it saves it as a PDF file already for you. And then just hit save, and you'll be able to use that. I think that would be your best bet, okay, when you're doing this. After you saved it, you can type your information in here once it opens up into a PDF format. And that'll be part of your assignment for session 2. Then you're going to read this excerpt from The Sorcerer and the Stone, although many of you probably are aware of this if you haven't read it already. And this will be the information that you'll do right here as far as that goes. Here's your reading log labels. Again, all you have to do is hit Control in this, and it will open up your reading log labels. And these are presented to you quite easily, actually. And this is the reading log, so you're familiar with it. I'll go ahead and shut that. And then these are kind of examples of characters that you might be familiar with. If you're talking about The Hobbit, which incidentally is coming out in December, yay, you'll have these characters. To Kill a Mockingbird, which you've read, Romeo and Juliet, The Adventures of Huck Finn, which you'll learn about this year, The Great Gatsby, another one you'll learn about this year. You'll have to have some examples of these characters, and you'll be working on these primarily as far as what you decide or you choose to read or watch. Okay. All right, reading the discussion sessions. This will have your opportunity, even though you're not reading a novel out of class, because we just don't have the time frame for it. As you are finishing watching your movie, or if you wish to use a novel that you've already read, which is perfectly fine, then you want to look for the character development assignment. Again, the control, so that you can open it. And this is where it will open for you. And when you're looking for it, this is where you help do that outline. But you already are aware of how this works. How the points will be kind of set up. In your posters, we got to know details, and it has to have an analysis of your character, but with images and written description, okay? So you're describing physical space and stuff of that nature. There's a persuasion map that you can use to help gather these details, and how it's the same concept. It'll open up for you, and once you have it, you can put your name in here, and of course student if you wish, and then you can get started. As it goes, you can have the thesis statement that gives your viewpoint, and you can see how it's going to develop. You're going to have your main ideas here and here. If you click to it, it'll go straight to it. Examples or reasons, and of course the conclusion that comes with it as well. When you're done or you're finished, you can save the final, which is what you need to do so that you can upload it to Moodle, and that will be one way of doing it. Okay, and yes, we want to exit. Another example is going to be the planning sheet. Now some of these links are repetitive, as you notice, the persuasion map, and the reason why that happens is because as they're doing it, they want to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing. And the reading logs also, this is something that emphasizes information that supports what you're doing. So as you can tell, there's some worksheets that go along with this, and it's still the same thing. I just want to make sure that you understand that when you're doing these reading logs with your movie or with your book, that you make sure that you fill all of them out, because it'll be very important when creating that planning map and then when you create your poster. Okay? Now the planning map, the poster, and all that stuff is very contingent on basically you reading or watching something. So you need to make that a priority Monday night when you go home. And then once you do that, it's got a rubric, and this is just going to give us a start. Now this here, we're going to go ahead and skip this section, and we're not doing extension either. It does have some websites that you can go to for resources, but this is primarily what you'll be using. And when you're creating your project, you will use, and you can save this if you don't have internet at home, you may use basically the PowerPoint project. And in PowerPoint, what you're going to do is you're going to tell your digital story. And you'll do so when it opens by using one slide, increasing the size of it, and having some sort of order to it. And to do that, you want to make this completely blank. And then you can go in and design it. You will be inserting pictures that you find, even clip art if you want. And so, for instance, let's say we pick clip art, and let's say my type villain. I don't know if they have one in clip art or not. No one found. Let's say superhero. Typical. Let's start with a city then. Okay. What on earth do you have here? Alright, let's do this the easy way for me. When you go to Firefox, let's say my hero is Batman. And that's the person I'm creating, which it's not, but let's just say it was. Batman. I know that Batman came from Gotham. So, first thing I want to do is go to Gotham City. Give me an image. And let's say this is Gotham, and this is what I want. I'm just going to save it. And you have to understand that at this point right now, what we're doing is, I'm not worried about copyright. We'll get into that later. And I want to insert it. So now I've got it right there. And I'm going to bring it down, and so I'm going to start with Gotham. And I might insert, you know, some type of text box in there. And I might want to put it in here and, you know, say Gotham City, the birthplace of Batman. And then I'm going to go next over here. Since I'm inserting again, I may want to, you know, find some sort of, you know, shape, like maybe an arrow or something, and put the arrow right here. And then go ahead and insert a new picture, and then I may say Batman, you know, and if I do, then I'll go back here and just type in Batman, and, which is the hero, and find an image of him. Once I do, let's say this is the one I want, which Christian Bale is totally cool, might I add, and I copy the image, and I go back to my PowerPoint, and I'm going to paste them right here. Now, of course, they all go right there. I drag them to where I want them, and then I might want to give a description of him. But if I'm going in order, I may have maybe when he's a boy, and I have like a bat, and he's afraid of the bat, so that might be, you know, more important. But you get the idea. And so as I make this poster, it's going to continue to have some sort of semblance. And I may want to make this smaller to make sure I get everything on it. And the design itself of the whole thing, you know, may be the way I want to set it up. I may want to do it myself and just make it all one color, just make it all black, and just have these images on the back side. This is one way of doing things. So anyways, this is the poster project that you'll have that you will upload to Moodle once it's set. And of course, you already know how to do Moodle because I showed you that in my prior one. In the next stage, we'll do Hero Machine. But this one right here will take us at least 2 to 3 days to do, which is tracking the way writers develop after you do all the different worksheets and stuff that upload. So good luck, have fun, and we'll see you when you're done.